City volunteers distribute daily supplies to storm survivors in Selangor, Malaysia. City volunteers in Vietnam help a care recipient repair her dilapidated house. Welcome to the Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In a village in Selangor, Malaysia, a storm has blown away many residents' house roofs. On top of that, many residents have been unemployed due to the epidemic. Upon learning of their plight, city volunteers distributed aid supplies to the affected residents. In the aftermath of a storm, in a village in Selangor, some house roofs have been blown away while others have been damaged.
It rained heavily, strong wind blew, and a zinc plate flew here. Our house roof was blowing away. I was worried that the house would collapse. Then we could not sleep at night because the room was flooded. I took the child to the kitchen. I watched the roof being blown away. Then electricity went out. We could not celebrate at the theater. I felt very sad that we could not celebrate at the theater. How could my children sleep at night?
The villagers were still fearful as they recalled the experience. Since the government has implemented movement restriction order, some residents are facing a hard time.
I have not worked for 2 months. The government has not given us permission, so we cannot work, or else we might get fined.
After Kuala Lumpur and Selangor city volunteers assessed the damages, they purchased daily supplies to be distributed to affected residents. In addition, they seized the opportunity to promote vegetarianism. In Chile, impoverished residents are facing a more difficult time because of the epidemic. City volunteers have received a call from a teacher saying that many parents have lost their jobs and are having a tough time. City volunteers immediately went to distribute food and daily necessities. Volunteers moved the rice and noodles out of the warehouse. They're donated by Taiwan businessman Yang Jiru, who's based in Chile. Volunteers brought additional supplies and then take off.
We took off from San Diego, heading to the city called Cherpu, which is 120 kilometers away. We will distribute supplies for 22 households.
4 city volunteers drive from Santiago to another city, Quimpo, traveling for 120 kilometers on a single trip.
The situation is very bad now. Many students' parents lose their jobs because of the epidemic. The school has raised funds to help them, but the help is limited. So I have sought help from Tzu Chi volunteers.
The parents have received a variety of food and supplies. They expressed their sincere gratitude, placing their palms together.
These are supplies we need. These are gifts from the heavens. I appreciate you will bring in supplies. My husband was at the hospital, and we are afraid of conducting the virus.
The school teacher also joins the volunteers to help out.
Mediante la profesora Jacqueline, que gestionó esta ayuda con la fundación de ustedes.
I am a PE teacher. It is very meaningful to serve with other volunteers. Many disadvantaged families are facing even more difficulties because of the epidemic.
Me caería que a ellos les hace muy bien en estos tiempos difíciles que estamos pasando por la...
The volunteers have brought in aid supplies that come with their love and best wishes. Also in Chile, hospitals are in need of masks for their medical staff. They recently reached out to Tzu Chi for help, and the volunteers responded immediately.
These volunteers are cooking up the ingredients provided by the government as part of the Pot of the Community program. There is even a small volunteer group which helps with gathering the ingredients and distributing the hot meals after it's cooked. Tzu Chi volunteers in Chile were asked to participate in this volunteer group.
Today at Lincoln Anti-School, with the help of Principal George and Tzu Chi Foundation, we are cooking food for our students and community residents. And also, we have prepared food baskets for those families in need.
The shortage in food supply is caused by the spread of COVID-19. To continue to boost morale of the people, Tzu Chi volunteers have actively cared for the healthcare workers.
Quería agradecerle, a la Fundación Tzu Chi.
We are especially thankful for the Tzu Chi Foundation's donation of medical supplies during this time. Thanks to our friendship, our medical staff, as well as the patients can be helped and we can battle the virus together. As one of the directors here in San Jose Hospital, I'm very grateful to the Tzu Chi Foundation for their donation of 2,000 masks for our emergency and surgical staff. It will help our fight against the pandemic.
In Queensland, Australia, Tzu Chi volunteers follow government policies and suspend activities during the epidemic. However, when Tzu Chi volunteers learn of the financial difficulties of Hope Starts Here, they began to provide hot meals every Thursday.
Wang Xinyi, who worked few hours during the epidemic, still cooks. But what he earns is the joy of promoting vegetarianism, because these meal boxes meet Australian tastes, and they must be delivered to Hope Starts Here every Thursday. This service is supporting force for them.
If you guys continue to help us, we'll make sure that everybody knows the support that you're giving us, because I think it needs to be told that there are such generous people in our community that want to help.
The vegetarian cooking classes at Ipswich High School, taught by Tzu Chi volunteers, are temporarily suspended, but the deposit into the coin bank for donation didn't stop.
It's a very small donation, but for the last 4 months we haven't had very many students in the school. This was last year. This was our collection last year. We used bamboo banks, the coloured bamboo banks. Yeah. And we would hope to have had some more this year, but we haven't been able to do it. Next semester, when you come back again to do some teaching for us,
yes,
we'll have some more money for you.
Thank you so
So
much.
please use that in the way that the Master wishes.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're supporting some local people and we can help you do that.
Thank you so much.
Taking the opportunity for donating a second fire truck, Gold Coast Tzu Chi volunteers gave them some masks, scarves, Jingsi food products, and vegetarian food to thank police officers who were busy with epidemic prevention.
Gratitude and appreciation for your very kind donation. Rest assured we'll put the money to good use, building another fire appliance like this. Your very kind donation will go to keeping our firefighters safe in doing what they do to protect our communities here in Queensland. So we're very appreciative of your support and we look forward to an ongoing relationship well into the future. Thank you very much.
Currently, Tzu Chi volunteers follow government regulations and suspended large-scale distribution events. For those Tzu Chi care recipients, volunteers keep in touch by telephone. Once they learn of their needs, they will immediately send love to the door.
The COVID-19 pandemic has severely hindered the economy in Indonesia. The country is experiencing a high unemployment rate. Many of the small shop owners are coming together and rebuilding their customer base on the internet.
The novel coronavirus has really devastated many of the businesses around the world, especially the mid to small businesses. Dian Sukuma owns a bakery in Kota Depok, and her shop was severely impacted. Last month, less and less people came to the shop to purchase, and to cooperate with the government's lockdown order, she closed up her shop. Having been in business for 7 years, this is the first time she's met with this kind of adversity. Right now, she works out of her home and has taken to social media outlets to attract customers.
Saya berpikir awalnya apa
In the beginning, I thought maybe I need to let my employees go on unpaid leave, but thankfully before that happened, I thought to try internet sales techniques to increase orders and maintain customers. If we don't think creatively, we won't survive.
Beradaptasi dengan apa keadaan sekarang, kita akan tergerus terus gitu.
Facing the same problems, Tzu Chi and her partner's business has also been on the low side since the pandemic. In March, they were unable to pay their employees from the money earned. Thus, they worked with Dian Sukma to sell their items alongside the baked goods.
Untuk sebelum corona ya kita.
Before the virus, we did lunch meals and also made cakes each day. But since the lockdown and social distancing, no one is placing orders. Thus, I have to reach out to my friend for help.
Jadi saya beralih apa yang untuk bisa bertahan hidup ini.
It seems during this special time, businesses are working together to get through the tough times.
In Hai Duong Province, Vietnam, there's a Tzu Chi recipient who's also a volunteer. Her house is dilapidated, so the volunteers worried for her and decided to repair her house. As one walks from the living room to the kitchen, one can see pieces of wood that are supporting the collapsing ceiling. Tzu Chi volunteers are worried and therefore they want to help her repair the ceiling. However, volunteers who can come are mostly Tzu Chi sisters who are more than 60 years old.
Dạ. Không, cũng phải dỡ dần dần, sao dỡ được mà. Có kiên trì tình nguyện viên đến là phải làm cho nó.
This way, we will have the opportunity to visit you and help share your burdens. We are happy to do so.
Vui vẻ phấn khởi.
The volunteers want her to feel at ease. In the past 10 years, due to financial difficulties, she has turned from a Tzu Chi donating member to a Tzu Chi care recipient. Despite that, she still recruits as many as 150 donating members, including 2 young people who came this time.
We can put up new boards in the bathroom and kitchen. I feel happy to improve her life.
On the first day of repair work, the temperature reached 40 degrees Celsius. The volunteers hope that Grandma can live comfortably. In 2 weeks, they changed the ceilings on the first and top floors. They've also cleaned up the backyard.
I'm very happy that I almost cried. I'm deeply touched. Even my siblings and relatives have not cared for me the way you do.
The Dharma families help each other, building up a closer relationship. In Taoyuan, there's a husband and wife pair who operated shrimp and fish farms when they were young. Then the husband fell ill and had deep realizations about life. Since 2011, he began to adopt a vegetarian diet with his wife. After retiring, the couple also became full-time Tzu Chi volunteers.
师姐长煮，所以我来跟他帮我一起做香鸡，也就有人给他精彩，大家倒上茶水，舞台这时候成为倒酒了。
Since he suffered a stroke, 71-year-old Xu Qingsong cannot talk clearly. Since he retired 8 years ago, he has been volunteering with his wife Chen Meiling.
My life has been saved and my paralysis has recovered. Therefore, I dedicated myself to volunteering.
When Xu was young, he reached for what he cannot grasp. After he fell ill twice, he has awakened from his unpractical dreams.
In the past, I operated shrimp farm and fish farm, creating a lot of negative karma. I did many bad things. After I participated in sutra adaptation in 2011, my wife and I started to adopt a vegetarian diet.
We sold the house in 1988. After that, we kept losing money in our investments. We were in debt. I had to work, so I went to the golf course to carry golf clubs. I have stopped working since I got married. When he said I was spoiled, I could only bear with it.
I get up at 4 a.m. to chant sutras and dedicate the Marine to all sentient beings. After the epidemic broke out, I began to dedicate the Marine to medical personnel, praying for their good health and safety.
After retiring from her job, Chen Meiling joined Tzu Chi's cooking volunteer team in Taoyuan. In the past, she could only fry eggs, but she can cook now.
When I first started to volunteer, I did not dare to cook. I was unsure if the food I cooked was edible. Then I learned slowly. Sister Aguan has been teaching me. I learned, and eventually people started to enjoy what I cooked. I was also very happy. Then I continued to carry out the duties.
This couple's retirement life has been fulfilling as they both volunteer with Tzu Chi. Through volunteering together, they have become even closer. In China, volunteer Yang Yuezhen has joined Tzu Chi as a recycling volunteer 8 years ago. Every morning, she rides a bicycle to pick up recyclables along the road. At the last stop, she'll come to the market where her husband works and collect plastic bags from stall vendors.
Under the street light in the morning, no matter whether it's sunny or raining, Yang Yuezhen always insists on bending down and doing recycling. Yang Yuezhen collects recyclables along the street from dark till dawn.
In order to protect the earth, I have to pick up the recyclables. The more I do, the happier I am.
Her bicycle handles are hung with recyclables. If it is difficult to ride, she does it. Her last stop is the market where her husband works.
I'm going to recycle your plastic bags. Thank you. Everyone sees her doing recycling. They'll collect the items for her. Everyone rated her well.
Yang Yuezhen used to have bad temper. Now her personality changes. The husband feels the deepest.
After she started doing recycling, we don't quarrel. It's been 5, 6, or 7 years. She became very patient and does a better job.
Yang's husband also put down his prejudice about doing recycling. As long as he is free, he will help his wife and deliver the materials.
When I first started collecting recycled materials in the market, my husband said that although doing recycling is a good thing, he's not afraid of embarrassment. He was afraid of losing face if someone thinks that we're doing it to earn money. I told him that we're accumulating blessings for our next generation. Then he agreed.
The couple's efforts to protect the environment have become the most beautiful scenery in the market.
In Tanzi, Taichung, there's a sister pair who are both in elementary school. They've been influenced by their grandma and mother to adopt a vegetarian diet. What is the delicacy that has attracted Wang Yingti, who is in 2nd grade?
My mother always adds vegetarian balls into the Spanish soup. I like to eat cabbage, broccoli, and spinach.
Why doesn't she eat meat? A few years ago, she participated in sutra adaptation and therefore nurtured her compassion for animals.
Chickens feel the pain, and so do pigs, so we should adopt a vegetarian diet.
Even till now, she still believes in protecting animals. Her elder sister, Sichuan, has adopted a vegetarian diet when she was 4 years old.
Sutra of water repentance has inspired us. They were deeply moved and started to adopt a vegetarian diet in the year.
In this family, 3 generations adopt a vegetarian diet. Every meal is prepared with love. Wang Sichuan picks up the colored pencil to draw about the story of a wolf and a rabbit, which has a moral behind it.
Why do you embrace vegetarianism? Because every animal is alive. You will be burying animals in your stomach. Elementary school provides vegetables. She raised her hand and told the teacher she wants to adopt a vegetarian diet. She was the only one in the class to raise her hand. Animals are killed for no apparent reasons. I think animals are pitiful. I think going meatless is the right choice.
Everything falls in place naturally. In this family, not only do they embrace vegetarianism, there's also the fragrance of tea. Despite her young age, the girl learns tea ceremony mindfully. She's able to calm her mind. While serving tea, she also expresses her gratitude for her family. Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Xinying has been involved in Tzu Chi for nearly 30 years. More recently, she was diagnosed with cancer and has been in the hospital undergoing treatment. However, her heart and mindset still remain with Dharma Master Zheng Yan. Chen's caring heart moved the head nurse of the hospital, and she arranged for a blessing ceremony. The world needs your help. If you save money from buying a cup of coffee a day or the change from your pocket, it can help the world with preventative items.
Tzu Chi volunteer Chen Xinying was diagnosed with cholangiocarcinoma and is in the hospital doing long-term treatment. Despite being sick, she's still determined to fundraise for the preventative medical supplies for the pandemic. It's this type of strength that has moved her nurse to host a gratitude blessing event for Chen.
She has a lot of blessings accumulated, and this type of blessings can become a strong strength to confidence for donations to help others. Her dedication on this has really moved me.
In my mind, the only few days she stopped was when she was hurting from a fever and she couldn't think. It was only those few days I didn't hear from her talking about donations. However, if her brain is clear and she's awake, she'll be talking about her fundraiser. She does this on the phone or in person.
Involved in Tzu Chi for over 30 years, Chen has volunteered in the kitchen and also helped in the hospital. Her sickness does not deter her from Tzu Chi's mission. Knowing her efforts, her Dharma family could only send prayers her way.
Xinying is very brave and has always been. We are always there for her to support her.
She's a great cook in the kitchen, but after she fell ill, she hasn't been back in 1 or 2 months. We're all praying for her to get better.
Chen's charitable fundraiser has raised over 11 million NT dollars since the epidemic began, and she continues on despite her battle with her illness.
In Tzu Chi, I have no regrets participating to this day. I vow to follow the Master till my last breath. Tzu Chi Canada chapter has donated 5,000 masks to Richmond City government. The government officials will distribute the masks to different hospitals. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.